Alright guys, we're on to the next episode of Dragon Ball Super. We're on episode 87 now, and this episode is called Hunt the Poachers, Goku and 17's United Front as they team up to battle some space poachers. Now, I will say this is the first episode that has felt pretty much just like straight filler to me in quite a while in Dragon Ball Super. Even those last two, I guess technically filler episodes of Goku and Krillin on that island did feel kind of needed because it was exploring Krillin a little bit more, which obviously had a lot of purpose and impact since we knew the Tournament of Power was about to come up and Krillin was going to be on the team. So those made sense. This episode here did feel very needless. We did learn some more about 17. I would say this episode you can almost split like three. The first 3/4 of this episode are just nothing, but then the last fourth they discuss a lot of really interesting things that I want to cover on. It's interesting. I could see a little bit more now why people want them to hurry up and get to the tournament, but I do still feel that more episodes exploring these characters is something very important as we move forward so that we can have a real proper measure of all the characters fighting in the Tournament Power, and we can actually have emotional investments in these characters rather than Jackass A fighting Android 17, or, there's Tien, who we've seen about 20 seconds of screen time in the last 300 episodes of Dragon Ball fighting against Jobber 27 over there. Let's explore more with these characters. Now, the other thing I do have to touch on is that the stupidity of the 28 planets with mortal life in Universe 7 comes back in a big way in this episode. I'm going to try and limit my ranting on that to about 10 seconds, just short and sweet, but this is something I'll never be able to ignore, just how utterly moronic that line is, and how they put absolutely zero thought into it when they just pulled that out of their ass. I gotta imagine the reason that 28 Mortal Life line was given was just to justify that the entire Universe 7 team is all members from Earth. It's all guys that we've been aware of, for the last couple hundred episodes, all of Dragon Ball. If there was a lot more planets, then it would make more sense. There has to be at least one alien out there that's on the level of these guys. So that's probably why they did it, but that doesn't excuse how fucking dumb it is. So there's not really that much to talk about in the beginning parts of this episode. Basically, the episode starts out with Goku and 17 more or less continuing their conversation from the last episode. And Goku mentions the Super Dragon Balls, that they're, better Dragon Balls than the normal Dragon Balls, planet-sized, and can grant any wish. And 17 does seem intrigued by this, as though there is something that he wants, but then that's when the space poachers show up in their spaceship, and they suck up a ton of the animals. 17 and Goku, they fly over to the ship to go in there and fuck the dudes up, but the ship, cuts off its little tractor beam that had been sucking the animals up and flies away quickly, so Goku uses his instant transmission, and Goku and 17 get aboard the ship. Now, Goku and 17, once on there, they get jumped by a bunch of thugs, and it's like, oh, I wonder what one of the 27 other planets these assholes are from. The scene then cuts over to 18 and Krillin. Now, for a second, I thought this was actually going to lead somewhere, because Krillin is like, oh, I sense Goku's ki leaving the Earth. I wonder if he was able to recruit 17. And 18 gets real worried, oh, no, they're both immature. I hope this doesn't lead to something bad. And I was like, oh, are they foreshadowing a little something here? But no, no, they weren't. So, back on the spaceship, Goku takes out a lot of the just regular thugs, and 17 rushes ahead to go fight the boss. And of course, all these guys, they're nothing. 17 and Goku are able to beat all of them in one punch. And then we get a very long scene of where 17 and Goku are basically in a standoff with this main boss poacher guy, and he's threatening, he pulls out like a remote control, and he's threatening to blow himself and the spaceship up. He says he has a self-destruct device embedded in his body. And again, this goes on for 7, maybe 8 minutes, this standoff, as this poacher, he is just babbling on and on and on, and they're kind of standing there not really sure what to do. It is interesting. I don't really see what the point of this was, but at one point, the poacher does go to press the switch, and Goku is screaming, "Stop it, stop it!" And the poacher hits the switch, and the ship blows up, and then you see Beerus kind of jolted awake, and he's like, "Oh, I just had a dream that Son Goku died. This is a really bad omen." So I'm not sure if they're between Beerus's line and 18's line. I'm not really sure if they were setting up fake tension for this episode, or if they are actually trying to set something up for later on down the line in the Universal Survival, in the Tournament of Power. I'm not really too sure. That's another reason why I do feel as though this mainly was just like a filler episode, because I kind of think that those 2 lines, they were just to set up artificial tension for only this episode. I don't think they're going to have any long-lasting implications. This is not like, Asuma being like, "All right, it's my last day on the Force. I retire tomorrow" in Naruto. I don't think that's what we've got here. Eventually, 17, he tells Goku to take care of 18 and his wife and his kids, and he just straight football tackles this dude out of the spaceship, like through the window of the spaceship. And Goku goes Super Saiyan Blue and then uses instant transmission and grabs 17 and the poacher, and then he teleports them all to King Kai's planet. And immediately I was like, "Oh, okay, this is cool. We get to see King Kai again." And right as Goku's saying it, I realized what was going on too. That King Kai runs up, he's like, "Who is this?" He's like, "Oh, this is 17. He's like, "No, that fucker." And Goku's like, "Oh, this is a bad guy. He's trying to self-destruct." And King Kai's like, "What? Self-destruct?" And I'm like, "Oh no, Goku, no!" This killed me. That another dude is gonna blow up. And Goku takes him to King Kai's again, man. This was such a true to Goku moment right here. Even Dragon Ball Z Goku, this to me is very fitting of his character. And Goku, he even says, "Yeah, I decided to bring him here like I did with Cell." And it's funny because 17 looks around, he's like, "Oh, so this is where Cell blew up." Like, just so matter of fact. And it's like, yes, everyone present here died when Cell blew up. Goku, 17, King Kai, Gregory's bubble. Yeah, you all fucking died before. Yep, we're here. Right around here, Dende contacts Goku and he tells him that the man is lying about having a self-destruct device in his body. He doesn't have one. So this is cool. Between this and the last episode, they are really trying to set up Dende as having, that godly role, fulfilling after what Kami did, which is cool because so far, like, Dende as god of the earth has been about as impactful as, as good a job as the Kaioshin has done of basically doing absolutely nothing. So them actually, utilizing the fact that Dende is god of the earth is helpful here. And that he's, I don't know, the gods, they have like this godly vision. He's able to just tell that the dude doesn't have a self-destruct device and he's watching the events. That was cool. And it turns out that the device is just like, he presses a button and then it shoots out like party favors, like confetti and stuff. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we were preparing for a surprise birthday later." And it's like, man, these writers of Dragon Ball Super, man, these guys are something else, alright? So then the next scene is Goku and 17 back on the island. They've got the animals all back. And Jaco actually shows up to take care of the poachers for them. And he's like, "Oh yeah, we've been after these poachers for years. They've been selling valuable animals from lots of planets besides Earth." "Oh, really? From the 28 planets with mortal life, they've been picking up and selling lots of animals?" Now, I assume by immortal life, they're not talking about animals, but still. So they've just been traveling around all these uninhabited planets gathering animals, because there's only 28 planets with mortal life. Okay, Jaco? And speaking of that, Jaco, how is there some sort of, galactic patrol if there's only 28 planets to protect? Please, brother, tell me how that works. And Jaco mentions his jurisdiction. Oh, your jurisdiction is what? One planet? Because there's only 28 planets, Jaco. Please, inform me. Tell me, Jaco, because I'm apparently the dummy here. Please, Jaco, tell me. All saltiness aside, though, Jaco is a lot of fun. Jaco is legitimately really funny. I always enjoy Jaco whenever he's on screen. He talks about how he's like, yeah, thanks for the help. I will be taking credit for this. I might send a note of thanks, but I might not. Actually, I won't be. Bye. And then he just flies off. I'm like, oh, man. Jaco, that's pretty good. He's funny. He's pretty funny. After all this, though, 17 finally agrees. He says, yes, what we'll do, we'll have Trunks and Goten look after the island, and I'll come, join the team. And it's like, wow, okay, so despite the fact that Trunks and Goten are definitely stronger than some members on the team, they're relegated to watching over 17's island. Okay, sure, we'll just go with that. And 17 mentions that he wants to wish for a boat with the Super Dragon Balls, but not a boat, like a mega king-size yacht. And it's his dream to travel the world with his family on this yacht. And it's like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. But what we get into next is actually super interesting, in that 17 asks Goku what is he going to wish for, and Goku's kind of like, And then 17's like, oh, that's a stupid question to ask the savior of the world. And I actually really like this. So Goku says, I've never really been aware of saving it. I've just come this far wanting to fight strong guys. Now, this is definitely incredibly consistent, I feel, with Goku's character. And from interviews and stuff we've seen with Toriyama, that does appear to be like exactly what Goku's character is. I've seen in interviews with Toriyama before where he's described Goku as, like Goku's attitude is like a poison. Like he's so obsessed with fighting strong guys. Sometimes, in creating danger for other people, think of how like Vegeta allowed Cell to go perfect. A situation like that, Goku and these Saiyans just love to fight strong guys so much that Toriyama compared it to poison, which I thought is a very interesting comparison. And this is definitely consistent with what I feel like Goku's character has been the whole time. But Goku does throw in the line of, I can't stand innocent people and animals getting erased, which does seem true. It's Goku, he never really seemed like, he's not like that interested in like, oh, gotta take down this ultimate evil. But if someone like kills a whole ton of people, that will draw Goku's attention and he'll try and, fuck them up. Or if they're super strong, Goku will seek them out anyway. So I do like this line, like this little discussion right here, I think was important, maybe for people who don't really understand a lot about Goku's character. And he does throw in at the very end too, it's all thanks to what my grandpa taught me. So it's like, okay, wow, like, the end of this episode it has so many references to so many different things. We've already seen Cell blowing up, now a reference to Grandpa Gohan. 17 even mentions that, I was modified to kill you, now we're fighting on the same team. And then he asks, is his brother going to be on the team? Obviously referring to Krillin. And Goku, says, oh, yeah, 18 is your sister, so Krillin's your brother-in-law. Yeah, he'll be on the team, he's way stronger. Goku even mentions, too, in relation to what 17 said, how it's weird that, he was designed to kill Goku, but now he's helping him out. And Goku mentions that Tien, Piccolo, and Vegeta all started out as enemies. And they show this shot that's interesting. You see Tien in his Crane Hermit garb. You see Piccolo clearly from the that tournament he fought Goku. And then you see Scouter Vegeta. And it's like, yeah, everyone all was villains at one time. That's pretty much true here. Then Goku even mentions that Boo is on the team as well. And 17 is like, Boo, the one you beat with the Spirit Bomb. And it's like, yep, but he's not evil anymore. So they this is what I was talking about at the end of this episode. They referenced so many different moments. They're really trying to bring up the past a lot in assembling this Universe 7 team, which I do like. I like all the attention to detail they're paying. Hopefully, as we move forward, they continue to focus a lot on these other characters and get us invested in them. My biggest nightmare would be like in the Tournament of Power, like everyone except for like Goku, Gohan, and Vegeta get wiped out like instantly, and it's just them fighting. That would really be a shame and would really betray all the things they've done to this point. But overall, this episode, I don't know. This episode was definitely the worst episode in a while, but this like last third of this episode was maybe not third, more like the last fourth. The last fourth of this episode was very interesting with all the different references to things that have previously happened in Dragon Ball. Plus, I do really like them really specifying Goku's character, because I know a lot of the English fans, a lot of the Western audience, because the English dub version of Goku is so much different from the true adaptation of what Goku is supposed to be, a lot of, Western Dragon Ball Super watchers have been very confused about Goku's character and the way he's been acting, at the start of the Universal Survival arc. So this was cool to maybe get a little clarification for some of those people, but I found that a lot of people who are so obsessed with like the dub and dub Goku and stuff, they just say, no, that's not what Goku's like, and they don't listen to logic or reason, which is a shame. But regardless, an okay episode. It did some needed things. I am definitely super hyped though for next week's episode.